Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for May 8th, 2025. We're going to look at 2025 ADPs. We did this a couple months ago, but now we're going to look at post-draft ADP, see who's being drafted too high, see who's being a sleeper, and I'm sure we'll talk about some other stuff too. And I don't know if this episode is going to be as crazy as last night's episode. When we had someone's wife yelling at them to get off the air. But well, maybe we'll try. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something for the merch store. It is Cole's Bodies, Cole's Choice t-shirt, which some people are like, what is that? I'm like, well, this guy, he's forced into taking an experimental medication, and he wouldn't do it, and so he can get a job. And people are like, oh, that's horrible. I can't believe it. I'm like, so yeah, you can get that shirt and have that interaction as well with yourself. You can get other shirts here. You can change the colors. There's 20% off. So please consider buying one of these shirts. You can get my books. Jerks of the College Years is the most recent one. I spent 6 years at Penn State, and I wrote about weird people I saw up there during my 6 years. So I think you guys will get a kick out of reading it. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. That's the best way to support the show. We've had some great super chats in the past couple weeks from John Sanders, Slew, DeGeneron, and before that, Can't Make an Eagle, Armac, the Boss, Karmic, etc. You guys have been so great with the contributions. Just really appreciate it. John says too sober of a guest. Kenny needs to get 5 or 6 beers in, and then we'll be partying like we were yesterday.
How about like Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
All right. So we are joined by Kenny, the owner of thecapIsFake.com, who has, by the way, a couple of new articles on the site. We'll get into them as well. Kenny, how's it going?
Bro, living the dream. It is pouring down rain here in Orlando, Florida. And other than that, life is great. My wife is pregnant. She's exhausted all the time, so I have to actually be a good parent. I'm most of the time not good a parent, but I try. Other than that, life is grand, man.
Yeah, we all try. So yeah, you'll like as John suggested, you'll need about 5 or 6 beers, and then you'll need your wife to start yelling at you to match that. I was kind of hoping that you watched last night's episode and like you and your wife staged like something similar, or she'd start yelling at you. I think that would be pretty funny, but it does sound like she's she's exhausted from being pregnant third time, so it's gonna be rough, but it's gonna be a lot of fun having 3 kids running around. Yeah, exactly. All right, so the goal here is to like I said, go round by round, so 12 players at a time. Look at who's being drafted too early, who's being drafted too late, try to find sleepers, and we're going to go off of best ball on DraftKings, because I feel like if you look at anything else, it's going to be way too early. Leagues aren't happening, but people are actually spending money on this, so this is the closest thing you'll get to like real ADP. Keep in mind this is PPR. I know Kenny's a huge fan of PPR, but this is this is the best that we have. So, all right, let's get through round 1, and I think we know who's going to be the most overrated player here. Number 1, Jamar Chase. 2, Saquon Barkley. 3, Justin Jefferson. 4, Bijan Robinson. 5, Jahmyr Gibbs. 6, CeeDee Lamb. 7, Ashton Genty. 8, Malik Neighbors. 9, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 10, Puka Nacua. 11, Derrick Henry. 12, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey sneaking into the first round. He was going like 13 to 14. So the obvious, the elephant in the room here is Ashton Genty. We talked about that last week. Outside of Genty being drafted way too early, and if you guys have any questions about that, just leave comments or something, because we talked about that last week. Talked about all the rookies last week. Any surprises here for you? Do you think anyone's too early or too late here?
I think there's a couple guys that are a little too early, but I'm not necessarily surprised. Like CeeDee Lamb feels a little early in this spot. I think I've turned to bump him down. I don't know how the Pickens trade is going to impact him. As I was thinking about it today, is that good for Lamb or bad? I'm not sure. And is it good for the team? Probably good for them, right? Pickens is probably a significant upgrade. And so, yeah, I'm not sure that it moves the needle for that team wins and losses dramatically, but maybe for fantasy it does. Anyway, I think CeeDee Lamb is one that stands out to me. It's probably maybe a little early here that I want to take. And then, of course, the other thing that it's running backs are depressed, and I don't, Barkley being number 2, to me he's my number 1. Bijan should be a little higher. Gibbs should be a little higher. Derrick Henry being at 11 feels like pretty low to me. So Yeah, I think I would move all the running backs up except Gentee, of course.
Yeah, I feel like, and we'll do some best ball drafts in later weeks and stuff, but I felt that you can get good running backs in like round 7, 8, 9, whereas like you can't really get good receivers that late. Like Isaiah Pacheco's going in round 8 or so. Like I'm fine with him as my RB2. But if you wait till round 8 for a receiver, you can't really get anyone you like. So I've been drafting receivers earlier. But I do agree. Like if this is a regular draft, regular fantasy, then I would put Barkley and the running backs ahead of the receivers ahead of them. I agree with CeeDee Lamb being a little too high. Like I'd rather have Neighbors, St. Brown, Nakua. I'd rather have Collins and Thomas, and then I think that stops there. Like I'd put CeeDee Lamb, probably like if you just swap Thomas and Lamb, like I think that would make sense. Like I don't think CeeDee Lamb necessarily should be mid first round pick, maybe late first round, early second. That's where I would have him. Although I do think the Pickens trade helps him. It's going to take attention away from him. They're going to be able to extend the field with Pickens' speed. So I think it's a good move for him. Good move for Dallas. I gave him an A plus. I think either an A or I think it was an A. And I gave the Steelers a D. I think that it just felt like a dumb trade for them. Like they had nothing outside of Pickens last year, and now they have nothing outside of Metcalf. Like there's no depth at receiver. Maybe they could sign Amari Cooper or something, but he looks so decrepit at the end of last year. So I don't know what they're going to do at receiver.
Yeah, I don't know either. It just sounds like this was mostly personality clash with the coach, right?
Yeah, which feels like far too common for them at this point. It seems like he can't like clash with any of the receivers. Like it's like the same cycle. They draft a receiver, he's great his rookie year, and then he takes a bit of a downgrade the next couple of years, and then he gets into a fight with Tomlin, and then they trade him. That is that's what happens every single time with these receivers for the Steelers. Like Chase Claypool had a great rookie year. Juju Smith-Schuster looked amazing his rookie year. Deontay Johnson, great start to his career in Pittsburgh, and like they all fall off after the first year, and then Tomlin doesn't like him anymore. It's the same thing every time, which is kind of bizarre. So we'll see how they do with Metcalf. Nobody checking in for Maruba. Yeah, well, hopefully Nuggets made it okay. Hopefully he and his wife are still married. I mean, anyone who didn't watch last night's show, you're in for a treat. Go to like the 35-minute mark. Last night's show, you'll hear his wife yelling at him nonstop. It's so funny. Pickens isn't good. Pickens is very talented. Now, if you want to say he's not a good football player in the NFL, I could maybe hear that argument. But like he's super talented. And keep in mind the terrible quarterbacks he had to work with last year. So
yeah,
I think that he's going to do better in Dallas. Not that Prescott's that great, but Robert Woods, receiver 2, is scary. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pickens is good, a mental case, but good. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So what grades would you give the two teams that trade, Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a B plus for the Cowboys. I guess I was going to say it's more like a C plus for the Steelers. They get a 3rd round pick, and they're not going anywhere this year anyway. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm less critical of them on it than you are, I think.
So I think they had a chance to do something if they sign Aaron Rodgers and he does better than he did last year coming off the torn Achilles. With that defense and coaching staff and improved offensive line, and if they had Metcalf and Pickens and Freiermuth, it's a good trio of targets. You like Jalen Warren? They drafted Caleb Johnson. Like they should be able to run the ball well. I don't know. I thought that they had a chance to make some sort of push. Not that I would put them ahead of the top 3 in the conference, the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens in some order. They're the top 3 teams. Like they're not there, but I think they could be in the 2nd tier if all goes well. But like trading Pickens away makes that worse.
Yeah.
No. Aaron wins Steelers trade for Devontae Adams. that'd be weird. They could sign Cooper or Keenan Allen if they acquire Rodgers. Yeah. I think one of them. I think one of them will join the Steelers. So we'll see. But like I said, Cooper looked pretty decrepit at the end of last year, and Allen, outside of like a 4-game stretch last year, like he didn't really do anything. So they're both old receivers. So I don't know what they're going to get out of them. Okay, let's get to round 2 here. So this is 13 through 24. At 13, we have Nico Collins, at Brian Thomas Jr., Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, Devon Achane, Drake London, Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, Josh Allen, Trey McBride, Bucky Irving, and Josh Jacobs. Do you see anything here that you think is like too early, too late?
Hard to know. McCaffrey's the question mark. Like, because I just don't know what to expect from his injury recovery, and I don't know what to expect of the team, which is another. It's not just him; it's the team. Are they going to be good? I have my question marks about the quarterback. So, yeah, I think that's I don't think I'm taking McCaffrey in that spot, and I'm not sure where to take him. I feel like I've wrestled as I've thought about it. And then Bowers here, I'm never taking the tight end in this spot there. It just doesn't make sense to me. DraftKings, because of best ball, there's a rationale behind it that's unique. I'm still never doing it. So there's just a philosophical thing there that's different. If you have a different philosophy on that, then yeah, I guess it makes sense. I'm also not a big Achane fan, and I'm not a Drake London fan. And so the fact that guys like Josh Jacobs and T. Higgins and McLaurin and others are behind those guys, I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Drake London was the one guy I was looking at here. I know he's a receiver 1 on his team, but he doesn't strike me as a mid-second round guy. Like I think early 3rd round would be a fine spot for him. Like definitely behind T. Higgins. Like and also McLaurin. Like I'm taking Higgins and McLaurin over him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like him there at all. Achane, if he had a better offensive line, I could buy into him, but that Miami offensive line can't run blocks, so that's an issue. I think Brian Thomas Jr. should be hired. It's also Nico Collins. I think both those guys should be at the end of the 1st round. Not that like 13, 14 versus like 10, 11s, that big of a difference still. And Ladd McConkey, I think is he's someone who had like a monster performances at the end of last year. Like what he did in the playoffs against the Texans was unbelievable. And like each succeeding week, it seemed like he was being more and more productive. And now he's going to be in the 2nd year. I think that he should be higher as well, especially in a PPR format.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would imagine. I'm just kind of looking at my rankings here and thinking like, where do I actually put something? Like, I think I'm interesting. Josh Jacobs isn't good. Okay, now you're just trolling, right?
Well, this is our resident Vikings fan, of course. So he can't like anyone on the Packers.
Josh Jacobs to me is a borderline 1st round pick. So yeah,
it's crazy. Josh Jacobs was going like 4th or 5th round last year in best ball. I was getting him at like almost every draft that I was doing. I didn't understand it. There were a couple guys who were going way too late. Like J.K. Dobbins is going 13th round. We talked about him a lot last summer. And Justin Fields is going 16th round, which was I thought was insane because I thought there was a decent chance he could start. And it looked good for a while, but then he got benched. Yeah. John saying I'm guessing Achane would have the most variance in draft number, depending on whether it's standard or PPR league. Yeah, for sure. He has a lot of upside too. If Miami's offensive line can somehow be better than we think, then he could have a great season. I just don't trust the blocking. Now, they did sign James Daniels. He should be better than what they had last year, but they have a 2nd-round rookie at the other guard spot. They lost Terron Armstead, so I don't know. We did bet Miami under 8.5 wins. That was one of the team prop or the team win props that we bet already. So anything else before we move on to round 3?
Yeah, A.J. Brown too low as well.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
I fully expect the Eagles offense to be as good as it was last year or better. There's no reason why they can't continue to improve. So I don't understand that.
He was going late 1st round last year, and now there's a chance that the tush push is going to be banned, like during the May meetings. So if the tush push is banned, that has to help Brown, right?
No, I disagree. I think it makes no difference whatsoever. I think
they're going to have more passing touchdowns.
I think there's a 0% chance, 0 out of 0, that it matters. I don't understand the tush push phenomenon. Like all the chatter about it. Like, who cares? If you watch the tush push, it's like, do we really think the guys being pushed in the back is the reason why it makes a difference? No, like it makes a difference because the offensive line, because Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. Anyway, I think AJ Brown's going low because he's awesome.
Okay. I like that you said 0 out of 0. Calculator will yell at you for trying to divide by 0.
Whatever the math, whatever. I don't know. It's been a long time since I taken math class.
Yeah. I agree. It's the good old days of Central High Math with Miss Weston in junior year. We had Snover for Algebra 2. No one knows what we're talking about here. Anyway, round 3. Kenny knows what I'm talking about because we don't.
I had Dr. Spector. Remember him?
I had Mrs. Spector for history, who we would always make fun of her. She was fun. She was a funny lady.
And I had Mr. Harper for calculus senior year.
Yeah, people don't know Ron Harper's twin brother. I'm not even joking. Ron Harper's twin brother. He was super tall. He was super tall. He's like 6'6", and he looked like Ron Harper. And I like the first time I saw him, I'm like, what's Ron Harper doing in our school? His twin brother randomly is teaching math at our school. So weird. And his son, Will Harper. So Ron Harper's nephew, Will Harper, was in my algebra class. It's good. He's a nice guy. All right. So round 3, we start with T. Higgins, then Lamar Jackson, Terry McLaurin, Tyreek Hill, Kyron Williams, Garrett Wilson, Chase Brown, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jaden Daniels, James Cook, and Devontae Adams to close out round 3. Couple things I disagree with here. Kind of curious where you fall in these players.
I think most of these guys are in the range. Like, it's a range. It's, there's a philosophical range here. But there's 2 guys that stand out to me. One's no surprise. Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm still not trusting him. Like, why would I take Marvin Harrison Jr. ahead of Devontae Adams, ahead of even Mike Evans? And then the other guy that I think is a little bit high, Garrett Wilson. I don't know what to make of the Jets, but I'm not sure that I want to put a lot of energy investing in that offense for a while. The 30th pick overall, like, okay, mid-second, mid-third round, like mid to late third round, maybe it's okay, but I'm a little gun shy on the Jets still.
I'll say this about Wilson. When Justin Fields was the quarterback of the Bears, he targeted DJ Moore a lot, the receiver 1. So I feel like Justin Fields is going to be someone who just locks in on the receiver 1. So I don't mind Garrett Wilson here. I don't think he's too early or too late or anything. I think this is probably just fine for him. I'm not too excited to back the Jets though. It just seems like a bad team. But I do agree with Marvin Harrison Jr. When he had that terrible year last year. Well, it wasn't like terrible. It was just very disappointing. I thought we're like, okay, we're going to get him at good value because like people are not going to want to draft him. Like I thought maybe we'd see him like 5th round or so, but we're seeing him in 3rd round. That's like, it's not enough of a discount. He's still going way too early. Another one going too early is Tyreek Hill at 28 overall. Now, like this is a couple years ago, you called me insane for thinking that, but he looked decrepit last year. That offensive line, as I said, like really bad. Tua just 1 concussion away, just from being knocked out. And by the way, their backup quarterback is Zach Wilson, the MILF hunter is Zach Wilson. Tyreek Hill might be in jail, So there's a lot of things going against him. I'm not taking him anywhere close to the 3rd
round. He might be in jail. That's actually a good point. I guess you say he looked decrepit. I don't know, the late in the season, I didn't watch a ton of Dolphins, but the little eyes, I don't remember him like staying out feeling like he's not, I don't know, decrepit feels like, I have to go back and watch. That wasn't my take. My take was just the system was broken, that it wasn't Hill. Like, it wasn't like Hill being over the hill. Pardon my, what is that? Is that double on? That's a literary device. Anyway, alliteration. Anyway, whatever that is. I don't remember anything from Tyreek Hill's game that made me think he can't play. I just thought to myself, is Tyreek Hill going to be in a broken system. So everything you said about the system, I agree with.
I think the crop is too strong. But I think he definitely lost a step. Like he doesn't look like the elite guy we saw before. Like if he was a 10 out of 10 before, he's like an 8 out of 10 now. You know, like he's not the top end guy we saw before. And he relies a lot on
before. He's an 8 out of 8 now.
8 out of 8 or 8 out of 0.
He's an 8 out of 0 now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like receivers who rely on their speed are the ones who go quicker, you know. And he's 31, so each year is just gonna get worse and worse for him. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. You're right though. The system, the offensive line, the bad coaching, quarterback health issues, like all these things like factor in. And like I get the upside, but we didn't see the upside last year outside of week 1. If you ignore week 1 last year against the horrible Jaguar secondary, like Hill really didn't do that much. So I don't know. He's someone I'm going to avoid in the 3rd round. If it's something that magically falls to like the 5th or 6th round, yes, maybe sign me up for that. But like third round is just way too early.
At this stage of the game in May on best ball, I don't feel the need to reach for him. But if we get to August and he's not in jail, and if the team seems to be healthy and there's no terribly crazy reports out of training camp, then I would draft him in the 3rd at that point, in home leagues, but that's a long ways away from now. Today, I'm not drafting him in the 3rd in DraftKings best ball. That's for sure.
I would need to see some like glowing reports about the offensive line for me to consider him here. Because that offensive line looks so bad. Like Patrick Paul starting at left tackle. They have a rookie at right guard. The right tackle, Austin Jackson can't stay healthy. Center is a question mark too. Like this offensive line is just bad. Outside of left guard looks great with James Daniels, but that's it. Like they don't have anything else there. So they lost Terran Armstead. They got Daniels, but they lost Armstead. So it feels like a wash almost. All right, so round 4, we start with Mike Evans, then Breece Hall, Rashee Rice, Joe Burrow, Travis Hunter, there's the rookies we were talking about, Joe Mixon, Omarion Hampton, DJ Moore, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Hurts, George Kittle, Devontae Smith. So we have 2 Eagles, we have 2 Chiefs receivers, we have 2 rookies in this 4th round. Who do you like? Who don't you like here?
Yeah, we already talked about the rookies last week, so I don't feel the need to. As in the words of the great philosopher Emmett Smith, hey, there's no need to take my horse and beat it. I don't know that he ever actually said that, but it sounds like something you might say.
Yeah, well, if you didn't say that, I would have believed you.
I think obviously the rookies are overdrafted here. I also don't know what to make of DJ Moore because I'm not sold on Caleb Williams in that offense yet. Everyone else seems to love Ben Johnson. I guess he's great. I don't know. I'm just I don't know. I have not seen enough from Caleb Williams to tell me how great he is. So I'm not sure what to make of that guy. I'm not sure what to make of Rashee Rice either. Like, is that great value or is that terrible value? The 4th round, like, I don't know. Is he going to play? Is he going to be suspended? Is he going to be healthy? I mean, is he going to be a central focus in the offense? Is Xavier Worthy going to take a major step forward and be the main, the main target? I don't know what to make of Rice, so it's hard to. I'd be much more likely to take Worthy in this round than Rice. I think at this point, and I think Joe Mixon is underrated here. Joe Mixon, man, he still looked really good for most of last year. The Texans' offensive line and system has a question mark, as always, it seems like. But if C.J. Stroud gets back to kind of 2023 form, man, Mixon could outproduce this draft position. So I think there's maybe some slight value there.
This is sort of what I was talking about. These running backs, like it feels like you can get some great values late. Like Mixon 4th round, I completely agree. Like he should be going like 3rd round or higher. Like if you told me Mixon went 2nd round in the draft, I'd be like, yeah, it seems fine. 3rd round, great value. 4th is unbelievable. So yeah, this is part of the reason why you can wait on running backs because you can just get someone like Mixon here, and we'll get to some other great values too at running back. Running back I don't like here is Breece Hall. Now he was going first round last year, so you might be like, well, this seems like great value, but a couple things like he just didn't look right last year. Maybe that knee issue, like he just never recovered from it. I think that might be the case. And also, he depends a lot on his receptions. And when you have a scrambling quarterback, the receptions for running backs just drops because instead of dumping the ball off, the quarterback just scrambles away. So Hall's getting hit on both sides there. So I don't like Brees Hall. Even in the fourth round, I don't like him too much. George Kittle, 4'11", seems like for a 32-year-old tight end, seems too early. Like I know that Samuel's gone and Ayuk is going to be out for like half the year. Still, though, like a 32-year-old tight end in the fourth round, this doesn't feel right to me. I know you don't like tight ends, but what do you think about Kittle there?
I mean, philosophically, I'm not going to draft the tight end there. I will say this: the last few games of the year, Kittle looked awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, he was still really good. So, yeah, he's 32, is another year older. I would still be interested in Kittle. He was really, really good the last few games of the year. So, I think going into the 2025, it's Bowers and Kittle, and then I think there's a huge gap between those two guys and the rest of the tight end field. So,
no Trey McBride.
I think McBride is I think he's a step back.
Okay.
And I think talent-wise, he's not far away from those guys. I don't like the system he's in, and I don't think he's used properly.
Yeah.
That could change, of course, but until I see it, it's hard to believe it. I don't trust their offensive coaching team, and I don't trust the quarterback. So I don't know, we're not playing some role play PS5 game. So if this was a video game, maybe I'd trust them, but in real NFL, I don't. So I love Trey McBride as a player, but I think he's in a poor situation, sadly. Doesn't know how to get the best of him.
Agreed. Yeah, doesn't seem like the best situation for him. So Kittle last year was going sixth round, so maybe it's kind of like sticker shock to me seeing fourth round.
It's all right.
Yeah, a little too high. What do you think about? I actually kind of like lost my train of thought. What do you think about like the Eagles players there? I mean, as an Eagles fan, like we had a funny draft on, was it Saturday? Where this guy was stacking the Eagles. He did like an Eagle stack. He took Saquon first, and they took AJ Brown, and then on the way back, like fourth round, he took Devontae Smith, and like the guy drafting at the turn took Jalen Hurts, and it seemed like this guy like just got so tilted that he like punted the rest of the draft. He only drafted one quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Like he just like it felt like his whole draft strategy was ruined. But like, what do you think about like where the Eagles are going here?
No, I think it's fair. Again, I'm philosophy. I'm not taking Jalen Hurts in that spot. But if you're of the proclivity to do that, then I think it's fine. I think Devontae Smith, I came to the realization like he will perennially because of AJ Brown and now because of Saquon, because of Jalen Hurts running. Devontae Smith will never put up the numbers that he probably could in another system. If he was the clear number one receiving option on a good, not even a great offense, if he was just like a decent, mediocre, or slightly above average offense with a above average quarterback, and he was clearly the number one receiver, I think he would put up fantasy numbers that would make him like a high second round pick in fantasy drafts. Like that's the talent he has. Yeah. So anytime you can get him like, fourth or fifth round, it's like, well, like that feels like value because maybe this is the year where he goes off and somehow like where he progresses to the point where he demands that sort of, attention. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think you're getting him at his floor. Like this is the floor for Devontae Smith.
Yes.
So I like drafting good players at their floor. I think I feel the same way Joe Mixon. I feel the same about kind of Alvin Kamara here. I feel like there's guys here. This is their floor. They're not going to fall off from this spot dramatically.
I agree with that. And if you're in a redraft league and you see AJ Brown go down, with an injury, like try to trade for Devontae Smith because, as you said, like if he's a receiver one, he can go nuts. So we've seen that before. Like remember at the end of 2023 when the Eagles were capsizing, granted, but like when AJ Brown was out, Devontae Smith had some huge games,
Yeah.
and that's what he can do. That's what he's capable of. So, but you're right. As long as he's the receiver too, he's not going to post those numbers. But if you're in best ball, you're looking for upside here, and I think there's definitely upside with Smith here at 412.
Not only is he not the receiver too, he's kind of like option 3 or 4. With Goddard coming back and Barkley, and in the red zone he's option 5 because it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just not it's a bummer for him. He's such a great player and a great teammate, by all accounts. And he's got a great resume, right? He's the only player ever to win a national title, national championship, Heisman, and a Super Bowl. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, pretty good. Sue says Caesar says Dolphins under 7.5 plus 135. So it's an interesting question. Do you take Dolphins under 7.5 plus 135 or under 8.5 minus 145, as we found last night? I'd rather have the 8.5. Like when you get to 8 wins versus 9 wins, it's pretty close. I don't know. I mean, if you were a betting man, Kenny, what would you take? The under 7.5 with plus money or the under 8.5 with minus money?
Yeah, well, I am not a betting man, but if you were going to put a gun to my head and force me to bet $1,
mm-hmm.
8.5, 7.5 feel like a big difference.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins are just good. Like they have just enough talent where maybe if they stay healthy, they can put it together. So I think I take the 8.5.
Yeah, I would too. $1.25 with inflation. Don't forget. Yes. All right. So we get to round 5 here. And we begin with Alvin Kamara, 501, then Tataroa McMillan, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, Jamal Williams, not Jamal Williams, Jameson Williams, sorry. Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Sam Laporta, James Conner, Chris Godwin here in round 5. Feels like Godwin's probably going to fall off with the Ibuka draft pick. Although who knows? Maybe not. So what do you like here? What don't you like here?
Zay Flowers, I love the player. I just don't know if he's going to put it together in that system. I'm not sure. And so I've owned him in fantasy leagues the last 2 seasons. I've owned a lot of him. And he's been inconsistent and hasn't really produced. And so I'm starting to fade on him a bit here. Okay. Alvin Kamara, I just went back and watched some of the Saints games for the end of the year. He looked great still. And I've seen people on Twitter talking about, platform formerly known as Twitter. I've seen people say, "Oh, he fell off. He didn't look the same." I'm like, I don't know. He looked fine to me. Yeah, of course, he's getting older. He might have lost a step, but I don't know. I foresee him being just the same productive. He's never been Alvin Kamara's never had 1,000 yards rushing in a season. I couldn't believe it when I saw that stat.
Yeah. He catches a lot of passes. I mean, that's where he gets a lot of his production.
And he's really very much a part of the offense in every way, and he's a great player. So I'm glad to take him in the 5th round. I mean, I think it's great value. The rookies here, I'm not touching them in this spot. I don't know. We talked about that before. The one that has a big question mark in my mind is DK Metcalf. Like, this could be way too low, or that offense could just be terrible, and then he just never scores touchdowns. In that case, this is way too high. Like, I feel like in the realm of possibilities, his potential outcomes, he has like the widest margin, like the widest differences between potential outcomes.
Yeah, I get that. Rodgers being there would help. Over Mason Rudolph. Rudolph is serviceable. It's not like he's going to win a Super Bowl at all, but he's shown that he can get a team to the playoffs. He's done that a couple of years ago. He did that. I like Metcalf here in the 5th round. I think he has so much talent, and now he's the only receiver there. Like, he's going to get a ton of targets, and he's super talented. So unless if they don't sign Rodgers and Mason Rudolph gets hurt or something, who's Pittsburgh's quarterback in that scenario? It's probably scary. It's Will Howard or Skylar Thompson, and at that point, you're kind of Skylar Thompson. Yeah. Will Howard is actually listed ahead of him on the depth chart, which is funny, but I look at that point, all hope's going to be lost with Metcalf. But right now, 5th round seems good to me. And his former teammate Kenneth Walker, I like him in the 5th round. Again, another running back. You talk about Kamara. Like these are examples like why you can wait on running backs. Chuba Hubbard, even mid-fifth round, I think is fine. James Conner, I like. He's an older player at this point, but he always produces as a runner and a receiver. End of fifth is I think is good value for him. Any disputes with that before we move on?
No, I think it's about right. Yeah. I think Laporta feels a little high there. Like I don't think he's as good as maybe we thought a year ago. Yeah, Godwin feels like he could fall off. James Conner, who knows? Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of question marks here. So I would play safe and go with running backs.
Yeah, and I do like Zay Flowers in best ball because he has those spike games. Like he has like insane games. Like sometimes he does nothing, but like that you're willing to take that in best ball. All right, so round 6, we start with Travion Henderson. Interesting that he's going over Stevenson. Deebo Samuel, Patrick Mahomes, David Montgomery, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle, Quinn Judkins, Roma Dunze, Jerry Jeudy, Jordan Addison, Chris Olave, and Baker Mayfield to close out round 6. So what are you thinking here for round 6? Anything stand out?
Man, from a pure talent standpoint, Chris Olave is awesome. Yeah, he's another guy just grossly underrated, and hasn't. It's partially his own fault. He's not put up the numbers that we know he could. But man, if there's a year where he stays healthy and and everything kind of goes his way, I think this guy could be. Last year he was going pretty high.
Third, I think.
I think it was a third round, right? Like maybe late third. Yeah, so I love Olave's game. I love the style of play. Yeah, so just who knows the quarterback situation? Who knows what's going on with that team? They got a lot of aging players that are not playing great, so the offense could fall apart. And in that case, Olave's probably overdrafted. Addison here, great. Love Addison. I think he's a great player. Similar to Devontae Smith in that he's probably never going to put up the numbers he could, and so. But if Justin Jefferson were to go down, man, this would be unbelievable value, right?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so I like Olave here. I was doing some thinking about it, like when we were doing some best ball drafts earlier. I'm like, I don't know if I can get to him, even though he's a receiver 1 in round 6, which kind of like just shows you how great of value it is. But like, and I was worried about his concussions too. That has to be a factor.
Absolutely.
But I don't think the quarterbacking really bothers me so much. Like, first of all, Derek Carr is not that good. It's not like they're losing like a Mahomes, or Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. Like, they're not losing this like elite quarterback. They're losing a mediocre quarterback. And like, there's a chance that Spencer Rattler, the Silver Snake, or Tyler Shuck can be like a 70% or 80% of what Derek Carr was. So, and plus like I think the worse quarterback you get, like the more they'll target the receiver 1, So it feels like Rashid Shaheed is going to be the guy who gets hurt here a lot, rather than Chris Olave. Now, if Olave gets hurt, then Shaheed, I think he has more potential. But like right now, like the quarterbacking doesn't bother me at all with Olave. He's just too talented to not produce when he's healthy. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so I like Olave here. I like Calvin Ridley a little bit. Now, like he didn't like do all that much last year. He had a few good games, but he didn't have real quarterbacks. He had Mason Rudolph and he had Will Levis for most of the year. I guess for all the year. They kind of like went back and forth between those two guys. Now he's going to have like what we think is a real quarterback in Cam Ward. Now Cam Ward is a rookie. He has mobility, but like he's going to, I think, lock in on the receiver 1. Just given that he's a rookie and he has more talent than Levis and Rudolph. So I think Ridley is someone who has like decent potential here in round 6. What do you think about him?
I think it's about I probably wouldn't draft Ridley because I think there's other guys here that I just kind of like the upside more on. I don't know what the upside is with Cam. Maybe it's great. I just don't know it. Ridley also just annoys me. I don't like rooting for him.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of a turd. And so I think he's kind of a dope. And I just I don't like I watch a lot of football games during the season, and I root for the players on my teams, and it's like I don't want to have to root for him. Like, it's not quite soul sucking like a Giant, but it's close.
Imagine if the Giants signed him. It'd be a double soul sucking.
It's such a I remember I felt that way with who did the Giants? Plaxico Burress back in the day. I kind of already disliked him when he was at Pittsburgh. Then he went to the Giants. It's just like, ugh, it's like gross.
I thought you were going to mention Kenny Galladay. It was a complete bum for the Giants. Like,
I actually loved Kenny Galladay with Detroit.
Yeah, and then
in New York, and I hated him.
Yeah, and then he stole all the money from the Giants, and he dropped everything and didn't produce at all. So
I actually thought Babytron. Remember he was called that for a while by people?
Yeah.
I actually randomly thought of him a couple of days ago. Funny enough, I was like, man, whatever happened to that guy? Like, he was like legitimately really good at Detroit.
Yeah,
and switched teams and just like all of a sudden forgot how to play. How does that happen? I don't get it.
He took the money and ran. It's crazy. Like, he got paid and he's like, all right, I'm out. That's it. He stopped trying. It was insane. Like, he just dropped everything. He wouldn't catch any passes. I'll never understand that. I remember betting the Giants one week. It was against like the Chargers or something, and they were huge underdogs, and like they were down big, but like they had this like comeback going. And like I remember watching the fourth quarter, just like on the edge of my seat because they had a chance to backdoor cover, and like Kenny Galladay, no joke, dropped like 5 passes in that fourth quarter, and like one of them was a touchdown, and like if you would have caught the touchdown, they would have covered the spread. I was just so angry at him. I was like, I'm done with this guy, and it didn't take very long for the Giants to be done with him either. But before we move on, I want to get your opinion on Patrick Mahomes here. Now, like, Mahomes has been pretty underwhelming as a fantasy guy recently, but I'm wondering because we've heard some rumblings from Kansas City so far this offseason where Mahomes is saying he wants to be more of an electric offense again, go downfield more. Now they have Worthy, they have Rashee Rice coming back, and the important thing I think is that they signed a left tackle potentially with Jalen Moore, and then they drafted a left tackle who could maybe start for them in Josh Simmons in the first round. If they improve the blocking and they have these receivers and Mahomes wants to be more aggressive, like, do you think that there's some merit taking him in the 6th round?
If you're the kind of guy taking a quarterback there, yes. I have a philosophical dispute there that I'm never gonna get over. So, I also think, we've seen him play so great for long stretches of his career. He's been awesome. And Tom Brady's the GOAT in terms of resume and longevity and overall production. But in terms of just like the wow factor, Mahomes is the greatest I've ever seen. Like in any sport, I think. It's Jordan and Mahomes, and that's about it. Like, LeBron's great too. I don't want to get into that. Anyway, but like I wonder if there's like, because the last few weeks of the season last year, we did see them begin to change a bit and push the ball down the field and become a little more electric. And then in the playoffs, they were that. Like, we've seen that in spurts. So it's clearly still there. I do wonder, they got away from their style of game with they had Tyreek Hill. Like they've kind of become this like horizontal offense, but like with Worthy and Rice coming back, like I do wonder, and if they kind of begin to phase Kelsey out of the offense a little bit, like not to phase him out, like, but just make him less of a central focus point, I wonder if that will be better for them. And with Pacheco coming back healthy, and he was never quite right last year, I wonder if that does. I also wonder, like, is he just kind of like in a FU mode? Like, is he potentially? Does he come back to that? Like, we saw it with Brady. Right? When Brady kind of came with the kind of in that mode. Like, I wonder if Mahomes has that sort of next level FU. I'm coming back and just lights the world on fire like he did, the first 2 or 3 years of his career.
Yeah, I think that could definitely happen. No Drew Tooney. Yeah, exactly. That was a hit they took, but they did add 2 offensive linemen. And even last year, like, Tooney was playing out of position, like, down the stretch. So We'll see. I don't know if they can play one of Jalen Moore or is Josh Simmons a guard. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but the rest of their interior line is good with Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. And if they get their left tackle situation like fixed, then all they have to worry about is left guard and right tackle. Jawan Taylor is not that bad. He's not great either. So maybe one of Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons can play right tackle. And then if that works out, their only liability is Kingsley Suamataia at left guard, he was awful at left tackle last year, but maybe he's going to be better at guard. So I think the blocking is going to be better this year for Kansas City. I don't know how much better, but I think there's a chance that Mahomes is going to have better blocking. And so, like last year, so I was in a league last year, and this is an online draft, but it was done with Austin Kelly from Arizona, who's been on the show a few times. This like last year, Mahomes was going like third or fourth round, I believe. And he fell to the sixth round, to the end of sixth round. I was drafting, I think, at the 11th spot. So he dropped to like 6'11", or to me, or no, it was 5'11", and then at 6'02", that's what it was. He dropped to like 6'02", and I'm like, I think I have to take him here because like he was going third round, and like I got him in the sixth, and that ended up being a pick I regretted because he wasn't very good for me. But now it's funny that he is going sixth round, where like three rounds later than last year. So I don't know. I think there is some merit to taking him here, but like if he falls to like the seventh round, like at what point do you take a chance on him? Like seventh, eighth? If he's there in eighth, I'd definitely take him. But
yeah. I think last year, I can't remember where I think last year I wrote down. I don't remember where I did put a moment down where I thought, okay, if he's here at this spot in the draft, then go for it. It still makes sense to take him, sure. I can't remember where that was. I think it was actually fourth round. I think I said to myself, this is in standard leagues, home leagues, not best ball.
Mm-hmm.
In best ball, I'm less likely to take a quarterback there.
Yeah.
I think I remember I said to myself, if you get to round 6 and he's on the board, you definitely take him. Round 5, you seriously consider it. Round 4, maybe it's on the radar. This year, I think this year I would say, 6 is probably where I start thinking about it. It's still highly unlikely. 8th round is probably where I would definitely say, pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Chandler asking a 12-team SF PPR trade: Hurts for Stroud, Olave, Pitta. I assume that's Pitts, not Dennis Pitta. Devontae Smith, 206. So he's trading Hurts for this big package: Stroud, Olave, Pitts, Devontae Smith, and 206. Would you do that?
12-team standard format? No, what's SF?
PPR. I don't know what SF, but PPR trade. So I don't know. I mean, it depends. It depends how the rest of your team looks. If you have like no depth anywhere, like if you need just players to plug in, then yeah. But I feel like Stroud could keep declining potentially. Olave, we discussed him. We like him, but we don't love him or anything. Pitts is just awful. If you're desperate for a tight end, I get it, but there's no point getting him. Devontae Smith is we talked about him too. Like he's a guy who has immense potential, but right now doesn't see it because of his role in that offense. And then 206, this draft is pretty weak. So I heard, not that I play a lot of Dynasty or something, but I heard some people talking in Dynasty. They're like 206 is the same as like 406 this year because there's so much depth in this draft, but not enough top end talent. It really depends on your super. He's saying super
flex.
Yeah, two quarterbacks each week. Okay, that makes more sense. So yeah, especially in a league where quarterbacks mean so much more, and in 2 quarterback leagues, I would not trade Hurts for that package. Like unless you have zero depth elsewhere and you really need the help.
I'd have to see the rest of the roster and the rest of the league, like because there could be a scenario where we say, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But you need another quarterback though. So
yes.
Yeah, who's your other quarterback? That's the question. But.
Right, exactly. It's hard to know like without seeing the rest of your team. But if you're fine depth wise, then I would not do this. But if you have like nothing to start elsewhere, then yeah, I think you pull the trigger or maybe try to get something better. Denver Nuggets only down 48 with 2:26 to play. That was a nice win for us. We had I bet Oklahoma City -11 tonight, and I got yelled at on Twitter because I was like, Cinder is a great guy. He's saying that, like, how can you bet the favorite? All the underdogs are covering. Well, I'm like, I don't like Denver. After winning game one, they celebrated like they won like a 16-1 NCAA tournament game. Like they like their bench rushed the court. Like they were so happy, they were jumping up and down. I was like, there's no way they're winning game two at all. Like, this is not going to be competitive. So we did have a bad beat tonight though. We bet Drew Holiday over 10.5 points. He had 8 points at halftime, and he scored his 10th point in the third quarter, I think. And then he didn't score at all after that. He got stuck on 10. So that was a bad beat. But looks like we're getting this Oklahoma City win. So that was nice. And we didn't, unfortunately, we lost out on our home run prop. We had Aaron Judge, and he didn't hit a home run. A couple of other Yankees did. So our home run props have been awesome so far. So all right, let's go to round 7. We begin with Juwan Jennings, then Travis Kelce, Caleb Johnson, Jacoby Myers, Aaron Jones, Khalil Shakir, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Tony Pollard, TJ Hawkinson, Matthew Golden, and George Pickens. So they still have George Pickens as Pittsburgh here, so they'll need to fix that. All right, so what do you think about this round 7?
I kind of feel gross as I look at this cool, like I gotta take a shower. It's so gross. Like, what is like there's a lot of slop and a lot of like inconsistency and a lot of like high risk, high reward type players. Like there's players in this round that if you told me at the end of the year, oh, they're gonna be first round picks in 2026, I'd be like, oh yeah, I could see that. But there's also players in this round if you're like, yeah, they're gonna be out of the NFL this year. Like, yeah, I can see that too. Like it's a kind of a very like up and down, weird round. The safe pick here in this mix is Aaron Jones. I think he's the safest pick of the bunch. Everyone else, there's major question mark around for various reasons, right? I mean, Juwan Jennings, maybe Jennings is actually the safest pick.
Yeah, I like Jennings,
but doesn't have the same explosive upside as some of the other receivers might in this part of the draft. Shakir might have great upside. Like Shakir could be, maybe he totally has a total breakout and the Bills take another step forward and he ends up being a quality wide receiver one. I don't think that's a crazy scenario. Cooper Kupp also, like, could he bounce back and be great? I think he could. Could he totally have, it feels like he was really inconsistent down the stretch last year. Is it because he wasn't healthy or is it because he's just old? And who knows? And so I feel like there's a lot of question marks. I feel the same with Diggs. There's a lot of question marks here.
Yeah, I like a couple of players you mentioned. Juwan Jennings, I've been drafting him a lot in these best ball drafts. Yeah, he's the receiver one there right now. And given that Ajax coming up to 20 ACL, I think he's going to be a receiver one all year. And we saw what he was capable of last year. Like he had some huge games. Khalil Shakir, you mentioned it too. I like him. He's a receiver one here. He doesn't like profile as a receiver one, but he is the receiver one based on who they have on the team. And he's like pretty consistent. Like usually you want your players to be high upside, but if you draft them as a starter, you at least have like a high floor, and then you're hoping that like someone else like beats him out. But like if he's your third scoring receiver, I think you're fine with it. And usually he's good for like a touchdown. So like, his floor sometimes is like 14 or 15, 16, which is fine. TJ Hawkinson, I'm good with him here in the 7th round. It feels like he has a lot of upside. I think you can wait on tight ends though. We kind of discovered that on Saturday where like they're like Tyler Higbee's going like 17th round for some reason. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I feel like he's someone you can target. So even though I like Hawkinson here, I'm probably not going to draft him like too often unless he like falls to the 8th. Who else here? You mentioned Aaron Jones. I like Aaron Jones here. And Tony Pollard is not too bad. And a guy I would completely avoid is Cooper Kupp. I completely dislike him. This is the first time he's going to be playing outside of a Sean McVay offense without Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff. Like he's going to be playing with Sam Darnold. and that just seems like a big downgrade on both ends for him. I feel like he's going to really struggle. I wouldn't take him in the 10th round, like let alone the 7th. So I have no interest in Cooper Kupp. I want to see where he is in my receiver rankings. Let me see. Over under 40. Let's see. No, where do you think I have him in my receiver rankings? Take a guess. Oh, you're so close. 66.
Oh wow.
It's so close. That's a good guess. Yeah, he stinks. He's done. He's done. I have no interest in him here. 10th round's too early. 7th round's obscene. That's what I said. We talked about Caleb Johnson last week. This is like the one rookie where you can be like, okay, we're fine with him here. Like a 7th round seems pretty reasonable for him. It's not like early or late. It's just fine.
Yeah.
Sanchez was listening on headphones in the other room and missed the Superflex part of your question. Was wondering why on earth you would ever hesitate to make the trade. That definitely played a factor in that for sure. All right, so let's go to the 8th round. We start with Bo Nix and Brian Robinson Jr., DeAndre Swift, Ricky Pearsall, Johnny Smith, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Jaden Reed, Brandon Ayuk, Caleb Williams, Tyron Tracy, and Isaiah Pacheco. I already mentioned Pacheco. 8-12 seems insane to me. Like, why is Pacheco going that late? It's insane.
Yeah, I feel like great value.
Yeah, it's crazy. He should be going like 5th or 4th round. So yeah, he's going to be healthy this year. He was. I think you know what? I think people remember him coming back last year just being awful, but he was not playing. He's not healthy last year, like at all. Like when he came back, so he's going to be fine. He's going to be healthy, and I think that he's just going to way outproduce his ADP. So. What else are you looking here here in the 8th round?
Yeah, I think Pacheco stands out. I don't know what to make of Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I want a part of. Like, what are we doing there? I don't know. Like, why is he? Ricky Pearsall is an interesting one. Like, I guess someone in that offense is going to produce. I think.
Yeah.
And I think Pearsall is more talented, has better pedigree than Jennings. If I had to put money on it, I'm not a betting man, but if you were gonna put a gun on my head and make me bet $1.25, I think it would be Pearsall above any other receiving options there. So, of all the names in this pool, if I was gonna take a dart throw at one of them, I think Pearsall's the guy.
I like Pearsall there. I like DeAndre Swift as well. Now, I not as a player, but like the situation he's in, his 8th round seems like way too late for him. You know how Ben Johnson loves his running backs. Like he's gonna want to run the ball a lot. There's Swift and Roshan Johnson. That's it. Like they drafted a 7th round running back. They were expected to draft a running back in the first couple rounds, and they didn't. And I drafted Swift in like 8th and 9th round before the draft in these best ball drafts. And I was like, I know there's a risk here because they could take a running back, but I think he's okay because Ben Johnson likes to use 2 running backs, and he had Swift in Detroit. He coached Swift, so I thought that he'd be okay. But then they didn't draft a running back, and yet he's still going 8th round. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. This is just another example of how you can wait on these running backs and get great value. Like both Pacheco and Swift going here, and Tyron Tracy. I like him less than the other two. But like Tyron Tracy in the 8th round seems really good to me too. So there's some really good running backs late, and that's what I was saying before. You can wait on these running backs, whereas like if you wait on a receiver, I know you said you like Pearsall, but the other receiver options here are Jaden Reed, who is very inconsistent, and then you have where's the other? Brandon Ayuk is coming off a torn ACL, so I want no part of that either. So yeah, just the running backs are stronger later than they are early. And then Brian Robinson's here too. I know you liked Robinson before. Where do you send Robinson this year?
Yeah, so hard to know what that. I don't know what that team's going to be like. I love the player. Obviously, I've always loved the player. Love the story. Funny, Robinson and Pearsall, both 2 guys that got shot. They're kind of going near each other. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's not that weird. The fact that NFL players have gotten shot and then still play that's been crazy. Anyway, I like Brian. I like Brian Robinson there. I think he's valuable and it's probably about right. You know what? I just realized I kind of missed the name Jonnu Smith in this spot here, and I think Jonnu Smith in this spot is probably 7 rounds too early. Like what? Why is he there at 89?
He had
Sorry,
he had a big year last
out.
year. 7 rounds early.
What? Like why is he there?
He had a monster year last year. Now last year he was going like 17th round. I took him in a couple of drafts last year. But yeah, 8th round's a little crazy for Jonnu Smith. Like is he maybe he could do the same thing as he did last year. I don't know, but I have my doubts. If the offensive line is better, then he's not going to produce as much because it felt like Tua was just leaning on him because he had no blocking. He just had to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. So I mean, he had a good year. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, eighth round's kind of crazy. It's like you always see these overreactions in best ball. I've said this a lot. Last year after week 1, because they had week 2 onward, Isaiah Likely was going 4th round, and Jaden Reed was going 2nd round. It's just like obvious fades, you know. You could just take advantage of. I love these. It kind of makes me wonder if we should do some weekly best ball drafts on Wednesday. I know we had a recap show every week, but like I feel like that could be fun, and like we could just kind of like identify, you know. So some like overreactions, yeah, and we could talk recaps as we do the draft. So I don't know, maybe something to think about. So wait, Cassandra has some comments here. Cassandra says, I'm not kidding. I logged out of here last night after about 20 minutes because I could tell Nuggets is going to be an alcoholic nightmare. Sounds as though I missed quite the show. Kind of regret leaving now. Ironically, I didn't actually log out. I put it on mute. As always, at least give you the view in the background, even when I can't watch or listen. I appreciate that, Cassandra. Thank you so much. But you can come back and rewatch it. We have the on YouTube. All these shows are archived, so you can go back. It's like around the 35-minute mark if you want to watch it for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It is hilarious. She just starts yelling at him. She's like, "You're an alcoholic. Get off the show." Butters, the other guy who was on the show with me, Butters and I were just cracking up the whole time. It's so funny. I hope because he said this is like the first time he drank in months because they were heading to Aruba, you know. So they're heading to vacation. He was just kind of like relaxed, and he said he wasn't going to sleep. So I don't like quite know like what the issue there was, but he's like, I'm not going to sleep. And at the end, he's like, she has a knife. So I hope he's okay. That was insane. That was insane. I urge you to watch at least a few minutes of it. It's so wow. Yeah. He's like, this is why you don't marry a Jewish woman. I just like lost it. Oh man. Wow. He's like, this is out there now. I'm like, yeah, yes, it is. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's get to the 9th round. We begin with we have 2 rookie tight ends here. We have Tyler Warren and Colson Loveland to begin 9th round. Cam Scatterbo, then Justin Fields, Najee Harris, Mark Andrews, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen Warren, Evan Ingram, Josh Downs, Brock Purdy, and Michael Pittman Jr. This is an ugly round. Do you see anything you like here?
Very ugly.
Yeah.
There's 2 guys that stand out to me, Jalen Warren and Michael Pittman Jr., because they actually have real talent. They're substantially better in terms of talent than what this round is. Their situations kind of depress them, but I think those guys both have great upside value. The rookie tight ends, don't take rookie tight ends. That's a waste of your time. It's very rarely worth it. It has paid off. Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, many moons ago. Bubba Franks back in 1999, 2000 was a decent rookie tight end, but that's pretty rare. Don't do that. Most of these guys are bums that would not be worth your time. The 2 that I mentioned, I think the only ones that I would consider here.
Bubba, I didn't think we'd hear Bubba Franks' name tonight. That's a good one. I forgot about all.
You're welcome.
I forgot all about him. Don't take. I agree. Don't take the rookie tight ends. Don't take Cam Scatterbo. He's the 3rd running back on that team right now. Najee Harris is okay here. Like Jim Harbaugh is going to love running the ball, and I feel like Harbaugh. Some people are expecting like Hampton to take over, but like Harbaugh is so old school. I feel like he's just going to feed the ball to Harris until his legs fall off. So, like, the offensive line's good. He's going to get the volume. I know he's not a great player, but like ninth round, I feel like you can do worse than Najee Harris. If you need an RB2, if you've waited on these running backs, like I think Najee Harris is okay. I know you're not a big Najee Harris fan, but like this is the latest we've ever seen him, and he's the starter there. Any thoughts on him?
I mean, I think he's a bum, but
Okay.
but even a broken clock tells time twice a day. Harris, he's just good. I just think he's fine. He's fine. He's good enough to be productive if the situation is right. And because of Hardball's style, you're right. He might Hardball may do exactly what you're saying. So Harris probably has some value in this spot here. I still would prefer Jaylen Warren over him. I've been saying that for years, and it doesn't seem to always be quite right. So,
yeah, another example of how you can wait on running backs. The last name I wanted to bring up is Mark Andrews, because he's with all these rookie tight ends. I'd rather have Mark Andrews. Now he's coming off a down year, like especially the start of the year, but he got better as the year progressed. And I think that like coming off of what happened to him in that divisional round game against the Bills, where he was responsible for like 3 screw ups, like including the drop, the 2-point conversion at the end. I feel like a player as good as him, like when he's coming off the worst performance of his career, like that had to be the low point of his career. I feel like he's going to be motivated. I think he can bounce back and play well this year. And he's not old. Like people think of him as an old guy. He's 29. He's not even 30 yet. So I think he can bounce back. And like 9th round seems like a discount for Mark Andrews. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to get Mark Andrews. But yeah, I mean, if I get to the 11th, 12th, 13th round, he's still there. I'm fine with him as a tight end.
Isaiah likely has upside. Whereas we didn't talk about him yet. So we'll see where he goes. He definitely has upside. All right, let's get to round 10. We've been getting with Justin Herbert, then Jordan Mason, David Njoku, Jaden Higgins, Darnell Mooney, Luther Burden, C.J. Stroud, Travis Etienne, Jordan Jordan Love, Zach Charbonnet, Dak Prescott, and Trey Harris to round out round 10. Any thoughts on these players?
Yeah, I think there's a couple decent floors here. I like C.J. Stroud in the 10th round. I think he's fine. I think Zach Charbonnet is a great 10th round pick. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he has some standalone value. And then, of course, if Walker were to go down, he'd be a fantastic RB2 or better. So, I like those players there. If this is the spot you're looking for a quarterback, of the guys that are here, I like taking a shot on Drake May. I like what I saw from him last year. I don't know what the system's going to be like, but I kind of like him and kind of want to just have some shares of him.
Yeah, I like May. He's in the 11th round, but still, like, he's around this area. I feel like he's like a decent pick. Charbonnet, I agree. Like, I think a little early for me to start taking those high upside running backs, but Charbonnet is one of those elite, high elite backup running backs. So I think if you take him here, you're okay. But as we'll see, like round 13, 14, 15 is like the sweet spot for those sort of players. One guy I hate here is Travis Etienne. I know you will agree with that because we didn't mention his backup yet, Tank Bigsby, and yet Bigsby was better than Etienne was last year. So I think Etienne's going way too early. I don't quite understand why this is such like people seem obsessed with Etienne. They think he's good and he's not. He's awful.
Remember, he was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick last year, wasn't he?
I think he was 2nd round. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mr. Bigsby, aka Cartavius, I think he's a better guy. I think he's a better play there.
Yeah. 100%. We haven't even got to where he is yet. So, I'd rather just take him in this round. C.J. Stroud, you mentioned him. I don't know what to make of him because last year when Tank Dell got hurt, I talked about this last night. He when Tank Dell got hurt, like he just broke down mentally. C.J. Stroud, like that game against Baltimore after that, and like the end of the Kansas City game, he looked like a broken man. And like I get like being upset that your player suffered such a devastating injury, but if you're playing in the NFL, you need to have better mental fortitude than that. Like, and he just showed that weakness. He regressed last year. I wonder if this is a downward trajectory rather than like a bounce back year. Like, I wouldn't surprise me at all if he bounces back this year and plays great. But like, it also wouldn't surprise me if he continues to decline as well. I don't trust the offensive line. Two of the receivers they had from last year are gone, and so it just feels like things could go wrong for him. I don't know. Like, it seems like good value, but like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he just really struggles this year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. You know, I'm not likely to target him in this spot, but I also wouldn't hesitate to take him if he falls to me in a place where I feel like I like him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And also, if I get Nico Collins early, I'm probably gonna try to stack him. Like, it's not just wait until week 2 and take likely in the first round. Exactly. Like, when we do these week 2 drafts, there's gonna be some guy going around 4.
So
Tired there?
It's so good. Yeah. Sorry. I had to.
Sorry if I'm boring you with my around week 2 draft speculation there. I'm just saying that, like,
I was up at 6 a.m. So it's.
I went to bed at 6 a.m. So that's where we stand. There's gonna be some guy who goes in the 3rd round or 4th round. We're gonna be like, what the heck's happening here? That's what always happens. So we have 5 more rounds to go. So round 11, we have Javonte Williams, then Drake May. We talked about him. Tucker Kraft, Ramondre Stevenson, Isaiah Likely, Trevor Lawrence, Jake Betch, JJ McCarthy, Marvin Mims, Christian Kirk, your favorite guy, Rashid Shaheed, and then
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, exactly. Rashad Bateman. Any thoughts to these round 11 players?
Christian Kirk hurts my soul. To see him. Oh man, I think he's probably done. I think it's probably over.
You think so?
For him? Okay. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, man. It just didn't look the same last year. Injury, and we're not sure about Houston. So I wonder if this is a situation where he kind of goes off into the sunset, kind of just fades away. So many receivers, when they they have a couple good years and then they switch teams and then we never hear from them again. And so I think this could be that sort of scenario. Marvin Mims Jr. You can always play him in your Raymakers. Don't forget.
That's right. So glad I had all those Raymaker cards of Marvin Mims. So great.
But by the way, I just realized I've been typing and taking notes as we go, but I've been muting my microphone, or so I thought, and I'm realizing my mute button hasn't been working. When I yawned, I hit the mute button, but the mute button wasn't working. And I realized I've been typing and taking notes. You guys have probably been hearing me type this whole time. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Oh, we have, yeah. I thought that was intentional. I don't know. I didn't realize you're trying to mute yourself, but
I've been muting. My mute button is it?
I can't hear you now. If you muted yourself again.
All right, there it is. My mute button's working again.
Better late than never.
I'm like typing and yawning over here, and I thought I was muted the whole time. Sorry, guys.
Nice. All right. So, anything else stand out to you here outside of Marvin Mims' sadness for me?
It's sadness. That is sadness. I am very interested also in JJ McCarthy.
Yes.
The Vikings are very high on him internally. They seem to just they're all about him. They are so confident. They wanted no part of Aaron Rodgers. They were never interested in Aaron Rodgers at any point. They seem to be legitimately interested in JJ McCarthy. They traded away Sam Darnold for a box of donuts. I mean, just so they're really high on him, and it makes me be high on them as well. I've come to trust that coaching staff and the front office, and so I would be willing to take a stab at him and maybe draft him, half a round before everyone else.
Yeah, I think this is where you take your quarterback. Or at least one of them. You need 3 in best ball, but still, even in real life, you take the quarterback here. I'm fine with the tight ends. Tucker Kraft, Isaiah Likely. This is a fine place to take him if you want. But the quarterbacks stand out. Like you mentioned, Drake May, McCarthy. I like his upside a lot. Trevor Lawrence should bounce back with Liam Cohen, and with Travis Hunter there. Like he should do well. And even a little bit earlier, Dak Prescott, like with the 2 receivers. Like this is where you take your quarterback because the other options are very underwhelming. So that's where I'm at in this round. You know. Okay, so round 12, we start with Dalton Kincaid, Bayshal Tootin, Dallas Goddard, Keon Coleman, Tajay Spears, Jaden Blue, Tua Tagovailoa, Kyle Pitts, White here with Tampa, Cam Ward, Jake Ferguson, and Michael Penix Jr. So who do you like in this round? It feels like another quarterback round to me, but who do you like?
Yeah, you get to a certain point. There's nothing at running back receiver. I mean, it's over and over again. I'm just like, wait on quarterback, wait on tight end, because this is all slop. Exactly, I don't want to rely on these guys. Dallas Goddard, we haven't talked about him yet. Looks like he's going to stick with the Eagles. You know, he re-signed the contract today, and I think that's good for him. I think I think there are very few situations he would have gone to where his value would go up. I think in most scenarios. There might be some exceptions to that, but I think generally his value was going to go down or it was going to be lateral. So I think the best case scenario is for him to stay in Philly one more year. And I think there's potential value for him in that spot there. I like him a lot there. Yeah, I think it's a quarterback potential round. You know, in a best ball, I'm willing to take a shot on Cam Ward, just in case there's great upside. Like just in case he's awesome. What if he's Cam Newton 2.0?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Again, this is a quarterback round. Unless you like the tight ends, you mentioned Goddard. I think Dalton Kincaid should bounce back. He was playing with a torn PCL last year, so he should do better in his third year. He's very athletic, and he has good potential in that offense. And then I'm starting to look at the running backs here. And I mentioned like round 13 through 16, like that's when you take your high upside backup running backs. But you have Tajay Spears is okay. Jaden Blue has potential. He might emerge as the starting running back there. Bayshal Tootin, perhaps. I would rather have Cartavius, as you said. Contavious Bigsby, but Tootin's okay. And then Rashad White is fine, in a PPR format. He's going to catch a lot of passes. So while I'd rather take my quarterback here, there are some running back options, but I think the better running back options are around 13. And so might as well jump into that here. So we start with Matthew Stafford is another quarterback you could take around 12. Then you get to Adam Thielen, Isaac Guerrero, Zach Ertz. Then you have Kyle Williams, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, whatever you want to call him. Jalen McMillan, Geno Smith, Bryce Young, Tank Bigsby. There's Tank Bigsby. Trey Benson and Quentin Johnston. Is my phone's kind of bugging out here. So what are your thoughts on round 13? Some of the running backs I mentioned, the high ups of running backs. We start to see here.
I like some of the guys. There's some potential there. Guerendo's the guy that I have the most question mark about, but it's probably the one I'm willing to kind of put more energy into, just because of the system. McCaffrey, we don't know what's going on there. If he's injured or if they want to just phase him out, I wonder if Guerendo could be a really productive back. And then Bigsby, I think he's the best running back on that team. I said Guerendo, I take that back. I think Bigsby is clearly the best option here. In fact, I think it's likely that Bigsby is the clear RB1 by week 5 or 6. He's just so much better than Etienne. So yeah, I think I like Bigsby.
I mean, week 5 or week 6 of summer rather than the NFL season, because I feel like he's going to be the starter rather early than Etienne. Etienne sucks. We've seen that before. Bigsby is so much better last year. I don't get why he's going so late. I agree. Bigsby looks great. Guerendo looks amazing. I've been drafting Guerendo, I think, in every draft I've done in best ball. I don't think I'm missing him in one team that I've done so far. I've just drafted him nonstop because McCaffrey is such an injury question mark. If he doesn't play, if McCaffrey was ruled out tomorrow for the rest of the year, where do you think Guerendo goes? 4th round, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round?
I was going to say 4th, 5th, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So you're getting that sort of production with him, and it seems likely, because McCaffrey played just 4 games last year, and he's on the older side. We just don't know what we're going to get out of him. So I mean, I want Guerendo on my roster, and if nothing comes of it, then then I wasted a 13th round pick.
Right? Who cares?
Right, exactly. But if this hits, then I have a potential RB2 the rest of the year on my roster. So I want him no matter what, and I also want Bigsby. So hopefully, my plan is to take Garendo 12th round, Bigsby 13th round. And then there's some other good running backs, which we'll see. Benson, by the way, not bad as well, but I'd rather have the other two. No quarterbacks, by the way. I want here. Geno Smith in a run-heavy offense. Bryce Young sucks. And then we have Sam Darnold here, just not very exciting without Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. And not getting those two to come along is kind of
makes a big difference.
Yeah, just a little bit of a difference. All right, so we move on to the 14th round. We have 2 more rounds to go. Austin Eckler, Sam Darnold, Ray Davis, Mike Gesicki, Xavier Legette, Anthony Richardson, Mason Taylor, Rico Doodle, Romeo Doubs, Tyler Algier, Wandale Robinson, and Cade Otton. Some other good running backs here too, right?
Yeah, the one that stands out to me is Algier. Because he's got decent standalone value. Like, they're gonna give him enough carries where he's gonna, he could be on weeks where if your roster got a bunch of bye weeks or injuries, Algier could be a guy that could offer some value. And then of course if Bijan gets hurt, he's huge. It's massive, value there. So yeah, he's the one that stands out to me from the bunch here.
Yeah, Algier's going to produce even if Bijan Robinson doesn't get hurt. Like that's what he did last year. I drafted Algier so much, hoping I don't want to hope that Bijan goes down, but like if he does, I could really benefit from it. And like Bijan stayed healthy all year last year, but Algier was still like a flex scoring option or an RB2 option for me on a lot of my teams, just because like he'd have games where he scored a touchdown or two. He'll get the ball at the goal line. It feels like they almost trust him more at the goal line than Bijan sometimes. So I love Algier here. I like Doodle. We saw him produce last year with Dallas. Hubbard's the starter, obviously, but that could always change, and Hubbard could get hurt. Ray Davis, I like. There's some speculation James Cook could be traded. He put his house on the market. Like, what if he gets traded? Suddenly, Ray Davis is looking great. He's another guy I love here. So again, like these running back options are amazing here in round 14. Just again, I can say this over and over again. This is why you can wait on running backs, because you get the values in the mid rounds, and then you get these amazing values here late, late in the draft. I will say, by the way, if you need a tight end, Mike Gesicki and Cade Otton, pretty good here too.
Pretty good, like serviceable.
I mean, for a 14th round, like. Gesicki had some amazing games last year. Otton, I think Otton kind of took a hit with the Mecca Buka pick, but still, 14th round feels like feels pretty good to me. Yeah. All right. Round 15. This is the last round we'll do. We start with Brenton Strange, so another tight end. Then we have Dylan Sampson, Cedric Tillman, Kareem Hunt, Pat Fryermuth, DeAndre Hopkins, Braylon Allen, Keenan Allen, Alec Pierce, Hunter Henry, Jalen Tolbert, and Jalen Noel. Any thoughts on these guys?
Nah. I mean, at this point of the draft, you're just filling out your roster and taking dark horse dart throws, right?
Yeah. Look, Dylan Sampson was the 4th round pick, and Quinshon Judkins is there, still Jerome Ford. But what if Sampson is the best running back on the team? Like there's not much competition. So I don't mind taking a shot on him in the 14th round, 15th round. If you need a tight end, Pat Fryermuth is a solid tight end too. You can take in the 15th. Braylon Allen, I think, is the best option here. Actually, one of two: Braylon Allen or Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce only in best ball. Alec Pierce he's gonna have like 3 or 4, maybe 5 huge games and do nothing otherwise. But that's what you want in your 15th round receiver. So I like Alec Pierce a lot. And Braylon Allen, I talked about before, Breece Hall seems to have lost a step. He has a knee injury in his past. If he goes down, Braylon Allen is going to have a chance to do well. So those are the guys I'm looking at in the 15th round.
Yeah, you're right. Allen is a big. Yeah, if we knew for sure that team was going to be good, or not even, if we knew for sure that team was going to be stable, let's just say that, and Bryce Hall goes down, Allen is a 6th-round pick or better.
Yeah, I mean, he probably goes around where like James Conner goes and stuff. You know, like he's gonna be talked up because of the injury, but we've seen running backs just not go as high as they should. So yeah, a fifth, sixth, 7th round, probably where he goes, and you know, you're getting him in the 15th, so it's great value. Yeah, I mean, there's some other guys. Just a couple of names before we head out. Oh, actually, I wanted to talk about the articles you have on your site. But 16th round, you have Jalen Wright. Again, like Achane is very injury prone. If Miami's offensive line is fixed, like Wright could have a huge year. So he's someone I like targeting here. And the other name is Justice Hill. Derrick Henry's getting old. You know, he's 31. He had a ton of carries last year. If he gets banged up and goes down, Justice Hill could emerge. So like round 16 and beyond, those are the guys I'm looking at. And there are a couple other decent guys, but round 16 and beyond, I'm looking at to add my tight ends. And I mentioned this guy before, but where's Tyler Higbee going? Tyler Higbee's ADP is 210. Like what is that? How does that happen? I don't understand that. Like Stafford loves him and Cooper Kupp's gone, so he's going to be seeing a lot of targets. His ADP is 1806. Can you explain that to me?
No, I cannot. It's very strange.
I don't understand it. I'm happy to scoop him up in the round 17 every time. So that's like that again. That's why you can wait on tight ends. Just get Higbee in the 17th round, and you're gonna be happy. Oilers Titan says 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 14-3 record. This is Cam Ward, first rookie to lead a team to the Super Bowl victory. I don't see that happening. Oh, by the way, you were mentioning the Bears before, and I brought this up to every co-host so far, except for you, because I heard it after last week's show. So you're hearing this for the first time. My friend, and I believe you've met him. You definitely met him before. I don't mention his name on here, but he is so confident in the Bears winning the Super Bowl. He's taking out a big bet on them to win the Super Bowl this year. And I asked him why, and he said, I love Ben Johnson. I love the roster, and I think Caleb Williams could be a superstar. What are your thoughts on that? Is how stupid is he to waste all this money on this?
I get the last part of that is the question it's the one that makes me is the question I'm not sure of. He said Caleb Williams is gonna be a superstar. I'm like, well, if I knew that, then yeah, sure, I'm willing to make that bet if I'm him. If he's a superstar, that surely could make a big difference. Absolutely, but that's a big if. I'm not convinced of that. So I wouldn't be making that bet.
Yeah. By the way, I mentioned this a few times, so people are going to be rolling their eyes. There are only 2 first-year head coaches to ever win the Super Bowl. Their quarterbacks were Johnny Unitas and Joe Montana. Just saying. Is Caleb Williams part of that group? Maybe my friend thinks he is. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right. So before we head out, Kenny has a couple of new articles on the site. One is very captivating. You exposed some fraud here. It feels like great journalism that you did here. Seriously, I was reading this. So like this is a scandal. The NFL like you can really expose some stuff here. Understanding the salary cap floor and NFL owners attempt to scam players. It is very like I was like it's like wow, they really scammed some of these guys. I don't want to like give away everything. I want people to go to your site and read it, but you want to talk about kind of like a synopsis of this.
Yeah, if anyone's interested, check it out. Capisfake.com. I've had a couple people on Twitter ask about the salary floor. There's a salary cap, the maximum that teams can pay if you believe in a salary cap. But there's also a salary floor, which is actually, but it used to be 84%, from 1994 to 2010. And then they changed it. In 2011, they changed it to it's 89% average over the last 4 years. So a team can only do, they can do 80% of the salary cap in a couple of years, and then they can do 97% or 98% and kind of bump, as long as it's a look back. Every year they do a 4-year look back. And so that's kind of the idea of the salary floor. But the reason why the salary floor came to be is because NFL teams, in essence, I say they scammed. Maybe that's strong, but I think it's unethical at minimum.
Yeah.
But basically, NFL teams figured out a way to lower to pay players below 84%. And so you're looking at a picture there of Pat Williams. Remember Pat Williams? Come on, man.
Yeah, the Williams
Um,
Wall in Minnesota.
That's right. Him and Kevin Williams together. So Pat
Yeah.
Williams, he's an example. He's the best example of this. In 2007, the Minnesota Vikings offered him an incentive in his contract, $13.2 million incentive if he hit a certain number of special teams tackles. And they call that a likely to be counted or likely to be earned incentive, which means it counted against the salary cap in that year. So if you do the math, they 92% of the salary cap they paid out in player compensation. So they were above the 84% expectation. Well, here's the thing. Pat Williams never played special teams for the Vikings. So there was never a chance he was ever going to hit that incentive. So that $13.2 million incentive went away. They never paid it out. So the actual money they spent that year was only about 80% of the salary cap. So on paper, it looked like they were going to spend 92% of their salary cap on player compensation, which is above what was expected, which is at least 84%. But what actually ended up happening was they only actually paid out about 80%. And several teams did this for several years. The Vikings, the Bengals did it, of course, because they love saving money. The Jets, the Patriots did it a little bit. So there are several teams that would basically offer players these big incentives. The players knew they were never going to get it anyway. They just wanted to get the contract that had some guaranteed money. And then they never paid out those incentives, but there was no retroactive punishment. So basically, the salary floor was 84% of the salary cap, but lots of teams were below that, and they had a loophole. So I try to explain it. It's 1,700 words, so it's lengthy. There's a lot of details, but I try to explain the nuances of the salary cap or the salary floor. And now it's unique the way it's worked. Now it's 89% average of the last 4 years, and there's a league-wide floor. 95% of must be a league-wide. So like whatever the salary cap is in any given year, the league-wide must be 95%. So you have teams like the Eagles and the Saints and who else is a big spender? Houston's been a big spender. The Browns have been a big spender. So, those guys spend up to 100% of the cap or more in any given year. Then you got teams like the Bengals who hover around 89% every year. So the league-wide average has to be 95%. But because you have some teams that overspend, teams like the Bengals can always kind of underspend.
Yeah, it's I urge you guys to read this. I mean, it seems like definite fraud here. Like Kenny, we had yesterday when Nuggets was saying there's no such thing as journalism anymore. I think this is a rare example of it. So Kenny did some journalism here, and this I thought it was great article. I think you guys should read it. Before we get to Kenny's second article, Ryan says Dynasty Superflex win now. Would you send Josh Allen, Breece Hall, and a 2027 first for Lamar and Ashton Genty, or am I high on Genty? I mean, I think like why are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson involved in this trade? It feels like they're kind of neutral to this. Am I crazy? Like why are they included in this? You could just do Breece and a 2027 for Genty. That's just kind of like in math you like cancel stuff out like top and bottom. Like because like you're canceling stuff out there. Like why are Allen and Lamar involved in this trade? So go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If the other guy insists that Lamar and Allen be a part of it, then I would say do it, because I think Allen and Lamar are close, and I would give up Breece Hall and a 2027 first for Genty. I would do that.
100%. Yeah, Breece and you don't even know it's going to be in 2027 first. Like, well, I should say like, look, it's probably going to be Arch Manning there, but like you don't know. He could come out a year earlier or something, and you may not even have the first overall pick to get him, or I don't know how early he's going to go, depending on who else is there. But Genty is definitely worth Breece and a first in the way future. So he's trying to win now. He said he's trying to win now. So definitely do it. So I like this trade. But again, like you don't need the quarterbacks there, so I don't know why they're included. All right, Kenny has two articles so I love this one. I'm going to tweet it out with your permission.
Yes.
Okay, WNBA players are actually overpaid, which cracks me up because we have WNBA players are always clamoring to be equally paid to NBA players. But you say no, they're actually overpaid. I did not read this because you surprised me. You said you had a second article, and there's a lot in here. So I will read this later on tonight. But do you want to have a brief synopsis on this?
Yeah, I mean, basically, they want to be paid like the NBA players, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, let's NBA players get, collectively speaking, approximately between 57% and 64% of the NBA profits get paid out to players. It's approximate. 57 is 64%. So I think WNBA players, the lady ballers, should also be entitled to between 57 and 64% of what their league produces. I think that's a total fair option. And last year, the WNBA lost $50 million, which means every WNBA player should be paying $183,000. That would be collectively 57%.
So can you imagine that? Like, hey, I'm gonna go in the WNBA. Okay, you owe us $180,000.
Listen, so the math says they should owe $183,000 every year, but the average salary is $147,000 a year. So by my math, they're overpaid by $330,000.
That's amazing. I'm gonna love getting the feedback from this. They should owe money just for playing this stupid league that shouldn't exist. Man, and then you have like dumb people like Paige Beaker's like, I'm gonna shine a light on like women. Like, okay, weirdo.
I just like, I get like the NBA, their whole argument is we want to get a portion of the revenue. So like NBA players get approximately 50% of the gross revenue that comes in the NBA, which amounts to be about, almost 60% of the profits, but on pure revenue. WNBA does generate about $200 million a year in revenue. That's the revenue. Okay. So they want 50% of the revenue. They want $100 million paid out to players collectively, which would be a huge increase because last year it was about $18 million was paid out to players. So they want $100 million paid out. But like, here's the thing. If you want shared revenue of the company that you're working for, that's fine. It's a perfectly fair demand if the company you're working for is profitable.
Right.
If the company you're working for doesn't make money, you can't ask for more money. This is stupid on face value. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's incredibly stupid. There's no demand for this league. It's the NBA being like just being woke, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we have our WNBA. Like, we love women. Like, no, you don't.
And listen, if someone likes watching women's basketball and you like it, go for it. That's great. If you enjoy that, like I have no problem. If the NBA owners want to continue to subsidize this, it's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. I don't care. But like, when people just say flatly stupid things, like, the only reason why men, I quoted a friend of mine on Facebook who basically said, there's all these men who love basketball. Why don't they watch WNBA? And the only reason is because they hate women. And I'm like, no, like, because it's boring. Like, I don't watch hockey or soccer either because I think those sports are boring. It has nothing to do with the gender of the people. I just think those sports are boring. That's me. I'm allowed to think something is boring. That doesn't make me a sexist.
It's a bad product. It's just a terrible product. I mean, they're not talented. Like a high school, like a well-coached high school team could beat them easily. Like, probably a mediocre coach high school team could beat them. Like, it's not. We had a under 13 under boys soccer team take down the women's World Cup team, in soccer. So, we've seen this before. Like, this is not something crazy to say. And we both have daughters. Like, I hope my my daughter, I don't know, maybe she'll be in athletics. I don't know. She's too young to say. She's not even 2 yet. But if she does, like, I'll root for her. I'll go to all her games and stuff. But it's not gonna be. It's just not the same level of competition. If my son's playing, like, it'll be higher level competition, like way higher. So it's I mean, it's a really boring, terrible product. And Tom, our Saturday co-host, always wants me to watch these games. I'm like, why? It just feels like a waste of time. Like anything would be more productive for me. And I don't know. And you're right. They are way overpaid. Like, how can you you can't ask for more money if your company's not making any money. And I think that's kind of like a very like communist socialist like a point of view where like people just don't understand that. Like, company, it feels like almost like these online companies that were losing money, like the online journalism companies that were doing well at one point, but they were losing money, and like the writers are like, we demand more money, and it's like the company's like, well, you're fired, we can't afford you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like the NBA owners, the NBA owners collectively own 42% of the WNBA, and then the 12 WNBA teams each have their own individual controlling owner that owns a percentage. But like without the NBA owners functionally subsidizing this year to year, they could just shut it down. Like,
Yeah.
And so like if I'm a WNBA player, I would shut my mouth because like the owners could just be like, I mean, I think it's highly unlikely, right? Because I think there's social engineering going on here. There is some wokeness for sure. Like that's the reason. And I do think it's valuable to have like women's sport. Like it's great. I think it's cool. It is helpful for the morale for female high school basketball players to be able to watch a professional league. Like, yeah, that's great. That's fine. But like, let's not pretend like there's also a professional handball league and a professional spike ball league, and there's professional pool league. Like there's professional leagues, and none of those guys are making big money either,
right? Because
they don't generate money.
Yeah. They're just jealous of the men. I mean, the men are making so much money, but they're producing revenue, so makes sense. Yeah. Again, if you're not producing revenue, then you can't make money there. So
just like the WNBA, the gross revenue is $200 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Their operating expenses, including player compensation, is $250 million a year. Like that's not a functional. And they've never in 30 years they've never made money. They've never been profitable ever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The NBA generated $11.2 billion last year.
Yeah,
and the profit margin was somewhere between $3 and $4 billion for the league.
Yeah.
To compare the two is so asinine that it's just shocking that any even average intelligence person would go along with this, which leads me to believe anyone who would say that is just really, really below average intelligence. I'm sorry to say that.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's true. Is this just a tax write-off for NBA teams?
Yeah, but like, do they even need it though? Like, these guys are multi billionaires. Like what's the $50 million tax write-off divided by 32? Like,
yeah,
I think this is just pure like social engineering, woke flavor, kind of just we have to have a women's league to be equal, and therefore we have which is fine. It's your money. You do what you want. I don't care. I just think it's funny. I think Kamala Harris, I quoted her in the article. Kamala Harris said one of her, and I put a link to the article where she said it, where she said like one of her campaign promises was equal pay for WNBA players. I'm just like, man, America dodged the bullet with her being president.
Can you imagine? Instead of losing $50 million per year, the WNBA, how much? I don't know how much the player salaries would be for compared to NBA to WNBA. How much did you have that in your article? Like how much money the WNBA would lose if they adopted the NBA salaries? That'd be insane.
No, they'll be bankrupt.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, seriously.
No matter how woke you are, eventually the numbers don't make sense, right? Like eventually you're like, okay, never mind. This is not.
I don't know, man. These people are insane. I wouldn't put anything past them. They're not. Well, they're either too insane or too dumb to understand. Sometimes both. So, yeah, I look forward to reading this article. I urge you guys to do the same. ThecapIsFake.com. Lots of great stuff on here. In addition to those two articles we talked about. A lot of stuff on here if you're interested in reading about how the cap is fake and all this other stuff. So definitely check that out. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description of the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. We'll be back tomorrow with the Omniferal. We're going to be talking TV shows. And of course, I'm sure politics will sneak in. So that'll be a lot of fun. I've watched some TV shows, so I'll be able to offer my opinions and stuff, and looking forward to talking about how The Last of Us is kind of like bombing right now because you see that clip, the little girl is like, I'm gonna be a dad. It's like no, no, you're a girl. You're not gonna be a dad. Sorry to break it to you. So we'll be talking about that Saturday. Tom will be back, so we'll be talking like rookie of the year odds and stuff. So
hey, weird show. My wife and I just binged a couple nights ago. The Entrenaut. Have you heard of it?
I have not heard of it. No.
It's on Netflix. It's one of the top 10 shows on Netflix right now. It's an Argentinian. It was originally produced in Argentina, and then Netflix dubbed. So it's English dubbing. The dubbing is mediocre, so it's a little annoying. But
I hate the dubbing. Yeah.
But the show is great.
What's it about?
It's basically an apocalypse type show, and everyone's trying, and then they realize, oh, it's basically aliens.
Okay. Did you ever watch From? I recommended that.
Oh yeah, we've talked about From.
Have we? Okay.
Yeah,
because I recommend it. Did you watch season 3?
Yes, it was excellent.
Yeah, I love that show. So great. So yeah, we'll be talking about that. The new season of Black Mirror came on. I have not watched it yet. I've been waiting for my wife to watch it. I don't know if I should like bite the bullet and piss her off to watch it myself, but we just made it through Squid Game season 2 finally. So we can talk about that as well. So lots to talk about tomorrow. And like I said, Tom will be on so we can talk like rookie of the year odds and whatnot, like we were going to last week. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, commenting. Really appreciate it. Check out thecapisfake.com and tune in tomorrow. We'll be talking TV shows. So looking forward to that. But otherwise, have a great night, and I'll talk.